Yeah, I think we're rolling. All right. Are we rolling? It says recording. So, there we go. We're rolling. Okay. All right. Yes, it's me. And I've broken protocol. And the reason for this is I got a lot on my mind. I woke up at around 1:30 this morning, and it was freezing cold. And I got my coat on here to stay warm. But, I suppose I could turn the heat up. But energy costs these days, everybody's snuggled up in their beds and they're warm. But I couldn't sleep. I've got a lot on my mind. Now, I know I'm just an old guy, funny looking, I don't have any teeth, and I can't wear dentures. It just drives me crazy. I can't wear dentures. But, and this is supposed to be another computer video because I make computers and stuff like that. I build computers. I reclaim computers and make them work good again. Make computers great again. So there we are, a little foreshadowing to a political video. And there is going to be a little bit of a political slant on this video because I've got a lot on my mind, and there's been a holdup. And some of you, in fact, I've actually received communications. I can't believe it. I have just a little rinky-dink YouTube channel. I don't monetize, but I have subscribers, and there are people that I talk to on other forums, and I try to help people. I like helping people. I always have. I've liked helping people, and especially with their computers. And well, it's been put to me, what happened to your Sage X299 build? Why did you suddenly stop videos? Why did you stop? What happened? And, okay, I'll tell you what. Here, look. It's still here. It's still here. From what I can tell, there's absolutely nothing wrong with their system board. I got a good deal on the system board. I got it used. Another component saved from the dumpster, another component saved from recycling. I put in an NVIDIA very, very plain Jane graphics card here because I didn't really want to load AMD drivers on this for the video. I didn't. It's not that I have anything against it. Look, I've made AMD builds too, okay? It has nothing to do with that. It's just that I wanted to keep it as basic and simple as possible. And it was annoying me that it kept asking me to install AMD Catalyst or something like that. And I don't want it. I don't want it on this system. I very likely we will be putting an NVIDIA graphics card on this layout because I like to use NVIDIA with Intel. I find I have my best results that way. And I like to use AMD with AMD. And I'm kind of particular that way. That way, if there's an issue and I have to go to the manufacturer, I can't have one side blaming the other going, oh, wow, it's because your NVIDIA isn't compliant with our AMD platform, or oh, well, it's because your AMD card is not compliant with our Intel platform. I don't want any of that nonsense. So I'm keeping AMD with AMD. It should make sense, right? It should make sense. So I didn't have any issues that way. But I did run into a different sort of issue. And this is it. You know, this is why I woke up at 1:30 a.m. and I've got a lot of things on my mind here. Because without being specific as to which forum, and yes, I even made my own copy. That's why I have a lot to say. I'm sorry for interrupting myself. I have a lot to say here. See, I even have a big coffee mug. And this coffee is not the coffee my wife makes. This is perked coffee that I made myself, camping coffee, you know, with the old metal percolator, the little glass bubble, because I could use a real boost this time. There's my slurp. And man, I make a good cup of coffee. Anyway, man, that's good. That's good. I forgot how good tasting those old-fashioned perk coffees. Wow. Oh, wow. You get a hit, you get a zing right away from that. That's okay, I might have to make coffee like that more often. I used to make it like that out on the campfire all the time, you know. A little perk coffee like that. With the little glass bubble, you could check to see it was nice and dark and rich. But I digress, like I always do. I know I'm AHD or whatever they call it, AHAD. Or they got all kinds of names for this now, eh? Okay. So where was I? Yeah, a lot on my mind. And in one of the forums that I frequent, where I do try to help other people with their systems, because I am an experienced, I'm a seasoned systems builder. I can't say how many computers I've built over the last 22 years. Is quite a few. And I've, you know, wrestled with Microsoft since Windows 98. So I think I'm well seasoned in that regard. Although I have to say I'm not that familiar with Windows 11 because I don't much care for it. Pardon me. I just, you know, moving the startup menu to the middle of the taskbar doesn't impress me, you know, and whatever other features that they have with Windows 11, these nuances don't really strike me as much in the way of improvement, and some of them are even actually more inconvenient. And I just don't see a whole lot that's that impressive about Windows 11. And one of the things that really irked me when I first installed Windows 11, apart from the fact that Windows 11 won't even it's not even accepted by Microsoft on a 69K, i7 69K platform, you know, a CPU, or an X99 platform for that matter. I mean, apart from that, you know, that Windows does not recommend that you install Windows 11 on that platform. I ran into something with this X99 or this X299 workstation, and this Sage, which Asus has advertised as Windows 11 ready. Okay, Windows 11 ready, but somebody dropped the ball. All right, and that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about. It's the Intel Turbo Boost Maximum Technology 3.0. And on the X99, I was very annoyed by the fact that I could not find a compatible driver for something that was integral with the X99 platform and the i7-6900K CPU, which I might add was not a very cheap little CPU when it was released. It was and I got it brand new, okay, brand new when that came out. That was over $2,000 CPU, yeah, I was kind of choked that, you know, not even 10 years later, not even, you know, we have this issue. It's like and this is integral. This is built in. This is hardwired, guys. You know, like TVMT with Intel CPUs is hardwired. Wow. It's part and parcel of the architecture. And you know, even if you disable it, it's still there, and you're going to find it. It's always going to come back in your device manager, and you're always going to have what Intel calls a bang, which is that little yellow triangle with the exclamation mark in the middle of it, right there in your tree. You know, when you go into your device manager, and that normally annoys any PC builder because it means something's wrong. It means that one of your devices is not working correctly. And, you know, any PC builder in their right mind would find that a concern. And it is a concern. And it's also partly why it's not recommended to put X99 on, you know, I mean, Windows 11 on an X99 platform. So let's just render a, you know, $2,000 system board and, well, actually a $2,000 CPU. Okay, it's not $2,000 anymore. Granted, you could probably pick up this chip for under $500 anywhere, anytime. Now, the i7-6900K, which happens to be a really good CPU if you're not using Windows 11. You know, let's just junk that. You know, let's just toss that aside. You know, let's make that obsolete, right? You know, and the system board. You know, let's make the 800 and something, better part of $1,000 system board obsolete, and its counterpart, the CPU, which used to retail at twice that amount. You know, so you're looking at, like, you know, CPU and system board for around at least $3,000 Canadian. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, we'll just render that obsolete, even though it might only be like 7 years old. But we're gonna, you know, because you got to go back to when Windows 11 first came out, right? So let's render a 7-year-old platform obsolete. Even though it cost thousands of dollars to put together, right? This is Microsoft for you. This is what the consortium is all about. So well, who are the consortium? Okay, AMD, Intel, Cisco, Microsoft. Okay, all the big boys, all the big players. They all agree on this, okay? They agreed on TPM too. How's that working out for you guys? How is TPM really working out for you? Okay? It's getting hacked all the time, all right? Keys are being stolen all the time, all right? This is what's going on with TPM2, right? Oh, you got to go get a module. Oh, now you got to update the firmware for the module. It's not working. TPM's been around for over 10 years, and it's not working. TPM is broken. TPM is a failure. Motherboard designers should all say, no, we're not going to use TPM, or we're going to make it a completely optional thing like they used to, do with TPM, because I already knew then it wasn't that great a deal. Okay? It's not. Okay? And no doubt they're going to be coming out with TPM 3. Why? Because they make money off it. It's not because they care about your security. It's because they can render your system obsolete real quick. If it's not TPM2 ready, well, get rid of it. Well, I'm telling you, hang on to it. Hang on to it, because there are other ways around this. Now, one of the things that I'm really debating is troubling me, okay, because I stumbled on something, and it kind of put this on hold, because I have an X99 platform that works just fine, except for Windows 11, right? And even then, it still works. It still works, okay? I'll sometimes get a momentary hesitation or lag. I don't know if that's Microsoft trying to telephone, I don't know what's going on there. It's kind of weird, and it seems to be internet related. But I stumbled on something. I don't like telling people to compromise their security on their operating system. But if that little bang annoys you, if you have the same problem in Device Manager with Turbo Boost technology, there's a workaround. And I found a way to get rid of that bang. I found a way to eliminate that little yellow triangle. Maybe you put it in the comments and see if you're really interested in that sort of thing, removing that. It took me a while to figure out how to do it. It took me almost 2 years to figure out how to do it, because, I had the best of them. I'm not going to name any names, but I had some high-profile, high-quality people trying to help me with this problem, and none of them could do it. I could not get rid of that, and these people really knocked themselves out. I respect them. They are light years ahead of me in their knowledge of working with drivers and devices. And no, they could not help me. And, it was kind of a sour grape situation, because some people said, well, you're not supposed to put Windows 11 on a X99 platform anyway. So yeah, let's just give up on a 7-year-old platform, even though it's thousands of dollars, right? Let's just give up on it, because why? Because the consortium, and that is what it is, by the way. It's a syndicate. It's a consortium. They all ruled on TPM2. If you got an older computer that isn't TPM2 compliant, who do you blame? You blame the consortium. That is literally what they're called, by the way. They are a consortium. Blame Microsoft. Blame IBM. Blame Cisco. Blame AMD. Yeah, blame Intel, because they all agreed on this stupid TPM2, and it's a waste of money, and it's a waste it's a waste of peace of mind. So many people had their PCs needlessly made obsolete over this Windows insecurity issue. I don't want to call it security, because it isn't secure. TPM2 is not secure. That's been proven time and time and time again. TPM2 has been hacked mercilessly. No, guys, get rid of it. Think of something else, but please. Anyway, I'm wasting a lot of time on this, because I have a lot on my mind. I know I'm a funny old guy and maybe set in my ways, and a lot of this may not concern some of you, because you got a a computer that's younger than 5 years old and you wanted an excuse to get a new computer. But what I'm about is restoration. And it just seems to me like a real shame and a waste of resources to toss aside perfectly good hardware because people are promoting the bleeding edge state of art. I mean, I don't mind that. I don't mind promoting that sort of thing, but I think there should be some consideration given for any hardware that's 10 years old, or even younger, that you don't slight it. At least draw the line on 10 years. I mean, when TPM2 requirements first came out with Windows 11, there were people with 3-year-old computers that didn't qualify for TPM2 because they didn't have TPM2 in the BIOS. So goodbye TPM2. They didn't have you couldn't put a TPM2 module in it, or the BIOS would not work with TPM2. Like 3 years old, and oh boy, obsolete, throw it away, no good. So, but that's Microsoft for you. Okay, that's the way they are. Now, recently, I'll confess to you. I wrote a book. I write a lot. I write a lot. All right. I don't brag about it, but I do write. I am a writer. I'm an author. I'm an unpublished author. I'm scared to publish, to be honest. Whatever. Maybe I will publish at some point. But I kind of grew up with Microsoft Word. What I mean when I say I grew up is just like when I got away from the Tandy and started using Microsoft. I was just amazed with Microsoft Word. So I started doing all my text and my work with Microsoft Word. And now in this wonderful world of CoPilot, I got AI up in my business all the time, and I don't want it. I don't want CoPilot. I mean, user preference. I respect people's user preference. Don't get me wrong there, but they upped the price, like $40, because they decided to give me CoPilot. I didn't even ask for it. I didn't want it. So I went back and changed it so that when they renewed my subscription for Word, that I would go to the original legacy. And it took, and it said your next subscription will be for this price. And I'm like, good. All right, so it's only going to cost me a little over $100 for the family Microsoft Word, because my daughter uses it. She's trying to get she's trying to get her degree in physics and software engineering. Okay, so I think Word might come in handy for her. Maybe so she uses it and she likes it. She doesn't like CoPilot. All right, good for her. But anyway, I get a email here in the morning. I'm like, what? Oh, we're very sorry, but due to costs and stuff like this, we're charging you. Essentially, this is what it comes down to. We're charging you the same price for your legacy version that we charge people for CoPilot. Can you believe it? That's what they're going to do now. When they already told me that I was going to get it for the original subscription price, they go and they send me an email. Well, we're going to ding your account now for more. Ram it down my throat. You know, I don't need it. I don't like CoPilot. You know, it's kind of nifty. You know, fine. You like CoPilot? Go ahead, power to you. But for us people who don't want it, like, why Microsoft? Why Consortium? I have to talk to the Consortium because the Consortium is part of this. Why do you ram it down our